This is a review of the Louis Garneau 0 degree LS100 biking boot shoe. This is recently acquired to try with my starting to fat bike in the winter. I'm also thinking this will be a good in-between season for the spring and fall and for cyclocross. So they're pretty light and they don't have a ton of insulation, but I will be doing some actual outdoor follow-ups to this review. They are, of course, high top there. They go up and have a full wraparound. They are water resistant. They're not watertight. They have a taped zipper, and they also have the BOA system, which you access on the outside to tighten the inner. So it's almost like it's an inner standard bike shoe with a surrounding wrap on the top and then a little more insulation. For anyone who's maybe not accustomed to getting biking specific shoes, I will just kind of relate my experience with shoes, and that is every time I get new bike shoes, they feel like they're too small. And that's kind of a fine line where you don't obviously want to have a shoe that's too small, but I have seen many people, many other fellow cyclists that, I mean, this is my own observation, but it looks like they have sized their shoes too big. If you think about it, you're transferring power from your foot and your leg directly to the bike, and you really don't want a lot of movement going on in there, so you don't want to be cramped. But perhaps similar to rock climbing shoes, if you haven't rock climbed, maybe you don't know about that, but that's usually got a pretty fitting shoe, and maybe not quite to that degree, but with biking shoes you do want to go where it's just right. And so again, every time I put on new shoes, they always feel too tight, and my tendency is to think, oh, I need to go up a size. And what happens though is once you start biking, you're taking there's a lot of pressure on your feet, and being that you're in a seated position, the fluid in your legs is going to be kind of pumped away from the periphery. And so, getting a little technical and medical, it's literally going to push the foot in such a way that you're taking fluid from the leg up the leg, and that's what happens when you exercise. But unlike running, where you're getting impact and you're pretty much upright, when you're biking, you're not going to get this more fluid in the feet. And so when you just try them on, when you've been walking around or just sitting even and standing, you've got a lot more fluid that just tends to get into the leg and foot. So whenever I put them on, even before a ride sometimes, or if I'm going to go race, I put on the shoes, and sometimes I've had them forever and they still feel a little bit snug. And then, of course, a little ways into warming up, I reach down and I've got to tighten them up, and that's because that fluid's leaving the foot and it's compressing. So anyway, so far these feel phenomenal. So sometimes I'm a little nervous, like how could it feel that good, brand new out of the box. But alright, so once you're in that bottom part, you can cinch the BOA system down. And I love that BOA. I've got another pair of shoes, some Pearl Izumis with that, and they're rock solid. Best system that I've come across in terms of having that BOA tightening system. So then once it's got an inner zip that's taped and sealed. Like I said, the BOA here. And to loosen it, you just pop it up, pull it up, and then it'll just, as you pull your foot out, it loosens. You can just free spin, you push it down, tighten it clockwise. And then we've got the full Velcro coverage here. This is a post-ride review of the Louis Garneau shoes that I showed earlier. These are the 0 degree LS100s, and with the BOA system. They are phenomenal. I loved them. What I ran into though was a problem with the cleat would not engage in the pedals because there's too much tread. So I'm going to install this spacer to accommodate for that. So the problem should be solved, but very difficult to ride without clipping in because I'm so used to it. But these were plenty warm, and yeah, I think that between picking the socks correctly, this could pretty much do all season, cold season that is. Fairly light and very comfortable. So, thumbs up.